Today, we are heading south, all the way down to the sun-drenched golden tip of Portugal, to a city that most people literally fly over on their way to the beach resorts. Look out the plane window, see it, go, oh, that looks nice, and then forget about it completely. Not today, not on this channel. We're talking about Faro. Say it with me, Faro, the capital of the Algarve. And listen, this adventure actually kicked off from Oriente Station in Lisbon, one of the most beautiful train stations you'll ever stand in, before we rode the rails all the way south and hit the streets of Faro for a full 7 hours on foot. 7 hours? My legs are still recovering. But was it worth it? Oh, absolutely. Welcome back to Rags to Travel, your no-fluff, no-filter guide to experiencing the world on your terms. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the family. Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell right now, because we drop fresh travel guides every single week, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming. So whether you're actively planning a trip, just passing through, or honestly, just sitting on your couch eating snacks and dreaming of warmer places, this one's for you. Grab a seat. This is your complete Faro travel guide. Let's go. What is Faro known for? Okay, so first things first, Faro is not your typical Algarve beach town. And I need you to understand that before we go any further. While the rest of the region is out here flexing with limestone cliffs and packed out beach resorts, Faro is doing something completely different. Faro is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. This city is known for its beautifully preserved Cidade Velha. That's the old town, a walled historic quarter that feels frozen in time, with cobblestone lanes, Roman foundations, and centuries of Moorish, Portuguese, and even Napoleonic history layered on top of each other. Faro is also the gateway to the Ria Formosa, a stunning coastal lagoon and natural park stretching over 18,000 hectares, home to flamingos, migratory birds, and some of the most pristine beaches in all of Europe. And of course, it's the whole region's transport hub, home to the Algarve's main international airport. But listen, do not let that fool you into thinking Faro is just a stopover. That would be like going to Paris and only seeing the airport. Faro has genuine, deep, delicious soul. Best places to visit in Faro. Alright, this is the section you came for. Where do you actually geo in Faro? I personally walked every single one of these spots during my 7-hour tour, so this isn't from a travel blog. This is real, fresh, on-the-ground intel. Let's break it down. Start at the Faro Marina. It's the heartbeat of the modern city, lined with boats, cafes, and that gorgeous lagoon light. It's the perfect place to get your bearings and soak in the atmosphere before heading into the old town. Just nearby, you'll find the Manuel Bivar Garden, a beautifully manicured public garden right on the waterfront. Locals come here to relax, and it's a great spot to slow down between sites. From there, walk along Conselheiro Bivar Street. This is one of the main promenades of the modern city, full of shops, cafes, and street life. Then continue to Santo Antonio Street, which is more pedestrianized and great for browsing. Now, enter the old town through the village arch, the Arco de Villar. This neoclassical archway is one of the most iconic images of Faro. Step through it and you step back in time. Inside the walls, the first thing you'll notice is a Diafonso 3 Square, a wide, tranquil plaza surrounded by historic buildings. It feels wonderfully unhurried. Right there, you'll find the Faro Cathedral, the Sede Faro. This is a must. It was originally a mosque, converted after the Christian Reconquista, and the mix of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture tells that entire history. Climb the bell tower for panoramic views over the city and lagoon, absolutely stunning. Nearby, look out for the Igreja de Misericordia, one of the oldest churches in Faro, with beautiful azulejo tile panels inside. And the Igreja de Ordem Terceira de Nossa Senhora do Monte do Carmo, sometimes called the Carmo Church, is famous for its haunting but remarkable bone chapel, built from the skeletal remains of over 1,200 monks. Don't miss the Belmarco Palace, a striking yellow noble palace just inside the old walls, and the Arch of Rest nearby, a quieter, lesser visited archway with real medieval character. For history lovers, the Municipal Museum of Faro is a gem. Housed in a former convent, it holds Roman mosaics, Moorish artifacts, and artworks that trace the city's layered past. Also look for the Monument of Ferreira de Almeida, a tribute to one of the city's notable figures, and the St. Joseph Seminary, a large Baroque building that anchors the old town skyline. Now, once you've done the old town, head out to Faro Beach. Prior to Faro, a long, beautiful barrier island beach accessible by bridge or ferry. It's one of the more relaxed beach options in the region, with a real local feel. From there, if you have time, take a boat out to Culatra Island, a traditional fishing community with no cars, beautiful beaches, and a pace of life that feels like another century. And for the ultimate escape, Ilha Deserta, the desert island, is exactly what it sounds like: wild, remote, and absolutely breathtaking. And tying it all together is the Ria Formosa Natural Park, the vast coastal lagoon that wraps around the city. Whether you explore it by boat tour, kayak, or simply from the waterfront, this is one of Portugal's genuine natural treasures. And if you want to see all of these places on video, every single one I just mentioned, check the link in the description for the full walking tour footage. How to get there. Getting to Faro is actually very straightforward. Faaro Airport sits practically inside the city, just a few kilometers from the center, and it receives direct flights from across Europe year-round, with connections ramping up significantly from spring through autumn. From the airport, a taxi to the city center takes around 10 to 15 minutes and costs roughly 10 to 15 euros. There's also a public bus, Line 16, that runs into town for under 2 euros, though it's slower and less frequent. If you're coming by train or executive buses, and this is actually how our journey began, by bus, you board at Oriente Station in Lisbon, one of Europe's most striking modern train terminals, and ride the Alpha Pendula, Flixbus, or a regional service all the way south to Faro. The journey takes around 4 hours by bus. It's comfortable and scenic, and you arrive right in the city center. Honestly, a great way to start the trip. By car, Faro is about 3 hours south of Lisbon via the A2 motorway. Smooth, well-maintained road with great service stops. How to get around. Here's the great news, and I genuinely love saying this. Faro's historic center is completely walkable. No car, no stress, no expensive taxi rides. I covered everything on foot in a single day with 2 legs and a pair of decent shoes. That's it. The old town is compact and pedestrian-friendly. The marina, gardens, and main streets are all within a short walk of each other. For Faro Beach, take the 400-meter bridge on foot or by bike, or hop on a local bus. For island trips to Culatra or Ilha Deserta, ferries run from the Portas do Mar terminal near the marina, easy and affordable. Taxis and rideshare apps like Bolt and Uber also operate in Faro, and bikes are available to rent for a few euros per day. The city is flat, which makes cycling genuinely pleasant. What to know before going? Okay, real talk. Here are a few things I wish someone had told me before arriving in Faro. Consider this your pre-flight briefing. Pay attention, there will be a quiz. Just kidding, mostly. First, pace yourself. Faro is a laid city. Give it at least a full day, ideally 2. Don't rush the old town. Second, many churches and the cathedral have entrance fees, typically between 1 and 4 euros. Bring some cash. ATMs are widely available, but smaller sites may not accept cards. Third, the Bone Chapel of the Carmo Church isn't always open to the general public during religious services, so check the schedule before you go. Fourth, island ferries to Culatra and Ilha Deserta run on seasonal schedules. Summer sees much more frequent service. In the off-season, check timings in advance. And fifth, this one is important. Portuguese people are genuinely warm, patient, and wonderful. But learn one word before you go. Obrigado. That's thank you. It costs you nothing, takes 2 seconds, and will earn you the biggest smiles you've ever seen. Try it. You're welcome in advance. What to do in Faro, beyond the sightseeing. And trust me, the sightseeing alone could fill your whole day. Faro has a seriously impressive menu of things to do. Here's what I'd put on my itinerary if I went back tomorrow. And honestly, I'd go back tomorrow. Take a boat tour of the Ria Formosa. This is genuinely one of the best things you can do here. Many tours leave from the Marina and take you through the lagoon, to islands, and often include bird watching. Some operators offer dolphin watching tours heading out from the coast. Spend an afternoon on Faro Beach. Swim, eat fresh seafood at one of the beach restaurants. Watch the sun go down over the lagoon. It doesn't get much better. Wander the old town at different times of day. Morning is peaceful and photographic. Late afternoon has the best golden light, and evenings bring out locals gathering in the squares. And visit the Municipal Museum. Even if you're not a museum person, the Roman mosaics and the building itself are worth the entrance fee. How to experience local culture. Faro is a real Portuguese city, not a tourist resort, which means the culture here is genuine. Start by eating where the locals eat, not where the menus are laminated and translated into 6 languages. Look for tascas, those small, cozy, family-run restaurants tucked down side streets. Order the cataplana, a slow-cooked seafood stew named after the copper pot it's made in, and honestly one of the greatest things I have ever put in my mouth. Or go for grilled fresh fish, sea bass, bream, or the legendary bacalhau, that's salted cod, and the Portuguese will tell you there are 365 ways to cook it, one for every day of the year. Yes, really. Wash it down with a glass of local Algarve wine or a cold Sagres beer, absolutely earned. And then, and this is not a suggestion, this is a requirement, finish with a pastel de nata and an espresso, a warm, flaky custard tart with your coffee. If you skip this, I will personally be disappointed. Don't skip this. And hey, if you're enjoying this guide right now, drop a like. It genuinely helps more travelers find this content and keeps this channel going. If you're there in August, the Ilha Deserta area brings music, food stalls, and cultural festivities to the city. And Faro has a lively university community, which means there's always a good bar scene, live music, and a younger energy mixing with the traditional. Take time to just sit in D. Afonso 3 Square and watch life go by. That slow, unhurried rhythm, that is the culture. Best time to visit. Honestly, Faro is a year-round destination, but the sweet spots are spring and early autumn. April through June is ideal. Warm, sunny, fewer crowds, everything is open, and the nature in the Ria Formosa is spectacular with migratory birds passing through. September and October are equally excellent. The summer crowds have thinned, the sea is still warm from summer, prices drop, and the light is softer and more beautiful. July and August are peak summer, hot, busy, and more expensive. But if the beach and full summer vibe is what you're after, this is the time. Just book ahead. Winter, November to February, is quiet but mild. Some beach facilities close. But the city is fully functional, hotels are cheap, and there's a certain peaceful charm to having the old town almost yourself. The weather. Faro enjoys one of the sunniest climates in all of Europe. Over 300 days of sunshine per year. This is not an exaggeration. Summers are hot and dry, with temperatures regularly hitting 30 to 35 degrees Celsius through July and August. Spring and autumn are warm and pleasant, typically 20 to 26 degrees, with occasional mild rain in autumn. Winters are mild compared to the rest of Europe. Daytime temperatures of 15 to 18 degrees, mostly sunny, with some rainy spells. You can wear a light jacket most days. The sea temperature peaks around 23 to 24 degrees in late summer, comfortable for swimming from June through October. Is it safe? Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes. Faro is genuinely one of the safest cities you'll ever visit. Portugal consistently ranks as one of the top safest countries in the entire world for travelers, and Faro is no exception. The usual travel common sense applies. Don't flash your valuables around. Keep an eye on your bags in busy spots. Don't leave stuff visible in a parked car. You know the drill. But beyond that, relax. You're in good hands in Faro. The old town is calm and well lit in the evenings. The Marina area is lively and safe. Locals are generally helpful if you're ever lost or in need of assistance. Emergency services are reliable. Healthcare is accessible, and the city has a strong police presence without feeling oppressive. All things considered, it's a very comfortable and reassuring place to travel. Is it worth visiting? Without hesitation, yes. Faro might just be the most underrated city in all of Portugal, and I'm willing to argue about that in the comments. Most people land at Faaro Airport, see the city name on the arrivals board, and immediately jump on a transfer bus to Lagos or Albufeira. And look, those places are fun, but they are basically leaving a 5-course meal to go grab a bag of crisps. No offense to crisps. Faro has something that money honestly cannot manufacture: authenticity. It has history, jaw-dropping architecture, wild nature, rich culture, and incredible food, all packed into one compact, walkable, completely unhurried city. It doesn't feel like a theme park built for tourists. It feels like a real place where real people live real lives, and they've kindly let you come visit. After 7 hours on foot, I left Faro feeling like I'd actually discovered something. That feeling is rare. That's the marker of a place truly worth visiting. If you agree, or if this video convinced you to add Faro to your list, let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. How to travel budget friendly. Alright, everybody's favorite section. Yes, we're talking money. And the great news? Faro is one of the most wallet-friendly cities in all of Western Europe. Your bank account will actually thank you for this one. Accommodation. Budget guest houses and hostels start from around 20 to 40 euros per night. Mid-range hotels come in at 60 to 100 euros. Book ahead in summer. Food. A full meal at a local tasker, 2 courses, drink, bread, can cost as little as 10 to 15 euros per person. Tourist-facing restaurants cost more. Eat like a local and save. Transport. The bus from the airport is under 2 euros. Ferry to the islands runs 3 to 6 euros return. A taxi anywhere in the city center rarely exceeds 10 euros. Sights. Most of the best things in Faro, the old town, the gardens, the marina, the beaches, the lagoon views, are completely free. Church and museum entries are minimal, usually 1 to 4 euros. Pro tip, visit in the shoulder season, April, May, October, for the best combination of weather, value, and experience. And if you want a full budget breakdown for your Faro trip, drop a comment below and I'll pin it for you. And that, my friends, is your complete Rags 2 travel guide to Faro Algarve. 7 hours on foot, one unforgettable city, and now you know everything you need to make the most of it. Faro is a city that rewards a curious traveler, the one who slows down, looks up at the architecture instead of at their phone, lingers a little too long in the squares, and absolutely takes a ferry to the island just because it's there. Be that traveler. You won't regret it. If you found this guide useful, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who's heading to Portugal, and subscribe. We post new travel guides every week. Hit the bell so you never miss one. Until then, travel slow, travel smart, eat the pastel de nata, and we will see you on the road. Thor care.